right. Give it up for Rhyno, everybody. A big Manchester welcome for Rhyno. Gore. Now, Monsieur Rhinoceros, first of all, one of my faves, of course. Yes, I'm formal. I call him by his formal name, Rhinoceros. You have been here since, you were here yesterday, meeting and greeting with all of your fans, signing autographs, all of today. How's it been going here in Manchester for you?
Oh, it's been great. Have you guys had a great time?
Yay!
And I actually wrestled last night.
You sure did. So he was a part of Future Shock Wrestling. If you're not familiar, we're in the Progress Wrestling ring, but we also have Future Shock Wrestling last night. And you were very much involved in Future Shock Wrestling, and you were a part of the Rumble Ski.
Yes.
How'd that go for you?
I won it.
Yay! Of course you won the Rumble.
I was able to hit a gore on CP Riley.
He deserved it.
Not once, but twice. And he laid there the whole, well, I said if I hit another gore, he's probably not getting up. And they went to intermission and they decided to take pictures and people started pinning them.
He was out for a solid at least 45 minutes. He was comatose, God bless him. Be careful what you wish for. I'm sure it was an honor to be gored by you, but he was out ski. Oh my God.
That he was.
He was indeed. Do it again. You guys are just bloodthirsty here in Manchester.
I know.
They just want to see you be violent.
Hey, do you want to see me gore Val?
Oh, no, good God. Good Lord. You know I bruise like a peach.
I won't.
In all seriousness, how are the UK fans to you? Because I know they're so excited to see you all the way here in the UK. You don't get over here that much. How's the fan interaction been here in Manchester?
Oh, it's great. I don't have a lot of opportunities to come over here to wrestle because I'm so busy in the States. And I'll get promoters to hit me up to come over for a one-off show. And I explain to them that usually I'm wrestling Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays in the States. So for me to come over for one show, it's not financially feasible for the wrestlers. And, so I have a marina I have to pay for. Now I have 2 marinas I have to pay for, so I can't take any days off of wrestling. So it's just, I don't get a lot of opportunities to come over here to wrestle. But whenever I do, it's just, it's a great time, so.
It is. Honestly, it's so exciting to see you still in the ring. And by the way, in the best shape, in the best ring shape, you have not missed a beat. What's it like wrestling younger talent like last night? Because there's a lot of great up-and-coming British wrestlers. But last night, you met quite a few of them. What's it like to meet the younger generation here in England?
It's great to see the, stars of tomorrow today. And it's great to share a locker room with those guys and girls. And you see the hunger they have for the wrestling business, not only to learn, but to go out there and wrestle and perform in front of people and, an enthusiastic crowd like yourselves. So it's always great to see that because it energizes you to go out there and put your best foot forward. Yeah. So, yeah, it's exciting to watch and see in their eyes, when they come up and they go, oh man, I used to watch you as a kid. It's like, shit, I'm old.
No one likes to hear that, right?
No. I used to tease Billy Gunn. I used to say that to him all the time. And he said, one day someone will come up and say that to you and you'll wish you never said that to me. So, but anyways, and they say it all the time. Yeah.
For them, it's a huge compliment, but you're kind of like, ouch?
Yeah. Well, it is a compliment and they don't mean any harm by it, but yeah, it's funny how it's happening to me all the time now, and it's been happening for
I'm 37 and I'm starting to get, hey, you still look good. Still? The word still is very controversial for sure. But honestly, his wrestling last night, if you're not following Future Shock, I'm sure they'll play the replay. It was phenomenal in the Rumble. Our Rumble winner for Future Shock Wrestling. And Rhyno, again, you have not missed a beat. As far as your current wrestling though, what's the landscape like for you in TNA wrestling? Of course, that's where we met. TNA, how's it going there? How's the locker room? What's the vibe like nowadays?
Well, I really enjoy TNA wrestling, and I'm glad they went back to TNA wrestling. Yeah. It sucks that, there's a change in management and, it's unfortunate, but, sometimes in life, as a veteran in wrestling, you have to, be a leader in the locker room, and it's like, okay, let's see how this thing rolls out and with new management and, let's put our best foot forward. And, and let's do what we do and kick ass. And then if things don't pan out the way, then but give it a chance.
Yeah.
So, sometimes people don't like change, but sometimes you have to embrace it and then see where it takes you. And then if it's not for you, just move on.
Yeah.
So hopefully for the wrestling business, it continues to move forward because, a lot of good wrestling promotions out there are good for the wrestling business.
Yeah.
And good for the wrestling fans.
Right. It's nice nowadays, right? We've got a lot of choice. We've got AEW, WWE, TNA. But obviously being a TNA person, you and I, is there anyone in TNA that you watch, I mean, you're there watching the shows, that you actually think is they have that it factor? Like someone that you think is a really good wrestler?
Trey Miguel.
Ooh.
Do you guys like Trey Miguel? I think, and it's not because he lives in Ohio and he literally lives 15 minutes from my house, but he's got everything that it takes to be like the next AJ Styles.
Yeah.
So when he wrestled as a heel or a bad guy, he learned how to change. And I remember wrestling with AJ when he turned to a heel in TNA years ago, and AJ made that switch. And he obviously young. We all have something to learn. And I'm not done learning myself. But I only want to wrestle for about 5 or 6 more years, if that, and then eventually, move to the pastures. So
Move to the pastures.
yeah, go out and graze with the old veterans.
Just picturing you in a rocking chair, like sipping, iced tea.
Right. But my passion's boating, and I say the banks bought the marina. I just work for them. But I have a couple marinas. And I enjoy that. It's a lot of work. It's a pain in the ass. You're up at the crack of dawn. You're working out. You're going there. But that's a passion that I'd like to slowly move into. With TNA, I produce and wrestle. And then I wrestle a lot of independent shows. So that's just part of my deal, is boating. And the great thing about boating is when people go out on their boats with their families, they create memories. And what we do in the ring, when fans watch it, we create memories. So when you can do something that helps people create memories, it's a good thing. So that's just an extension to me of my passion for wrestling, is that people are creating memories with family and friends. So.
Well, yes, very well said. To boating. Well, there's
and who doesn't like the water and go boating,
right?
Especially in the sun and yeah.
I'm on a boat.
Right.
I have to say, you talked about memories. I have so many memories of you. I mean, I've been watching you for years. Again, now I'm doing the thing that I just said we shouldn't do. I've been watching you for years, since I was growing up. But I have. And there are so many amazing highlights and so many memories that you've made for me as a wrestling fan. But for you, in terms of your career, like personally, what do you think your career highlights are? Like, what sticks out in your mind of things that you're particularly proud of in your career?
Goring Chris Jericho through the Titantron.
That was pretty badass. Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. Like, when that all took place, or before, earlier that day, I'm just thinking, this ain't going to be memorable. And I was wrong, because I get asked about that and the match with Raven at Backlash with the trolley, the shopping cart. Yeah.
Yes.
And that thing was heavy. And Raven goes like this. He goes, why don't you pick up the shopping cart and throw it in the ring? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And then I tried to lift that thing up. Holy shit, was that thing heavy. If you go back and watch, I don't make it look heavy, but I was struggling. And it's so awkward to lift up, And, oh man, but it came across as a really good match, and a match that I'm proud of. So.
All of that hardcore stuff, like when Raven come out with all the weapons in the trolley, like you said, the shopping cart, some of my favorite memories. But yeah, the Jericho thing, that was on like every highlight reel, and it still is. It's a very memorable moment. Didn't he call it the Jeritron?
Yeah.
He sure did.
Yeah.
What a goober.
Yeah, what a goober.
What a goober. Hey Jericho, we're just gonna say a little shout out. Mr. Brooker, I could sit here and fangirl over Rhinoceros all day long, but we're here for the fans, by the fans. Who's got a question for Rhyno? Just raise your hand, please.
I can't understand how you'd be fangirling out over Rhyno like this.
Yeah. We had to get him a medic. He was freaking out a little bit.
There we go. Go ahead. What's your name and question?
Hi Rhino, hi Val again. I'm Richard. I just want to say, you're saying before about how you don't like when people go, I used to watch you as a kid. Well, to make you feel a little bit older, ECW closed down before I was even born.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, that's okay. We just found the person I'm gonna gore.
Hey!
You're more than welcome to.
Gore,
But I just want to say,
gore.
but in the 2016-2017 time with you and Heath Slater on SmackDown winning the tag titles, that was probably one of the hottest things and my favourite thing back in the 2016 days. So I just want to say, or ask it rather, what's your secret to your longevity? Because you've been around for a respectably long time. It's just impressive how you still go and still look as good as you always have.
Well, first off, well, thank you. And you know, and I'll be honest with you, when someone comes up to me and says, you know, I used to watch you as a kid or stuff like that, I don't take offense to that. I'm glad I was part of their childhood. And when I was a kid, I always say wrestling's almost like therapy. You know, whatever's going on in your life, you know, and it's hard being a kid, you know, whenever it is, you know, whether it was in the 80s or 90s, there's always difficulties. But when I'd watch wrestling, there was no other issue in my life, but there was just pure excitement. You know, watching Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, the British Bulldogs, you know, so I'm glad I was part of someone's childhood or even adulthood, you know, because we need that escape for wrestling. And then, what was the question, though, as far as not changing? Oh, I got it. I hate my long hair. You know, it's okay when I hate it. The only reason why I keep it is for the wrestling fans. That's the only reason why I've never cut my hair over all these years. Oh, you can go ahead and clap.
They're clapping for your long hair. It's
Yeah.
a big hit in Manchester, bro.
You know, I always wear it back. It always gets in my face and all that stuff. And I was coming up during the grunge era. Oasis, you guys know Oasis? One of my favorite bands. You know, so a lot of, you know, growing your hair long as a kid and all that stuff. And then I got into wrestling. I'm like, you know what? Eventually I can cut it. And very few people can change their look. Like Matt Hardy, he can do the woke stuff. He could do the broken stuff. And it's cool. Chris Jericho, that's another one that could evolve. But maybe I just don't want to take the chance. But when I was a kid, I didn't want to see my heroes that I looked up to get older. But it's a fact of life. We all get older, you know. But I didn't want to see that. So I think to myself, what would the fans want? You know, I keep the singlet, kind of keep the same design, keep my long hair. And yes, now I have to dye it because it's going to be gray. Before in the past, I dye it just to be darker. And I'm like, shit, now I have to dye it. There's a real purpose behind it. But I don't want to change because of the fans. I remember when I was a kid, I seen in the tabloids, the papers, that Hulk Hogan had a kid. There was like a, what do they call, paparazzi. They took a picture and it was his son's birthday party or something. And as a kid, I was taken back by it. I'm like, I thought Hulk Hogan was supposed to fight the bad guys every day of the week and not have time for a family. Like I was so naive to believe that. And, you know, and that's why I keep my personal life to myself. I don't really put a lot of stuff on social media. Because I want them to think, okay, this is what this guy does, and you know, so that perception is reality. I'm out there fighting 24/7, but now you guys know I like boats, so you know.
That was
other
we're
than
just gonna
boating.
keep it between us. That's all.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Don't tell anybody.
On the
But so
boat.
that's the reason why I keep my long hair and try not to change. So.
No.
I love we got an
Come over here.
exclusive
We have a question here. Go right ahead.
Hello, I've actually got two questions. You were saying about Chris Jericho. What other wrestler did you enjoy wrestling with? And the other one is, if you could wrestle someone now for like the WWE or the AEW or whatever, who would it be?
I didn't quite hear the Chris Jericho question.
Oh, obviously, Chris Jericho, working with him was a highlight. Who were your favourite wrestlers to wrestle? And if you could wrestle anyone now in modern wrestling from any company, who would it be?
Well, one of my favorite, I mean, I've had so many favorite people that I've wrestled. The Rock was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed wrestling Sabu. I mean, just the stuff he would do, and but if I could wrestle anybody, obviously I'd have to say Sting in his last match, but that's not going to happen, you know. So, but yeah.
Great question.
There's still time. If we get you on the plane now, we might be able to get you there for tonight.
We could sort that out. Also,
Get an Uber.
everyone retires, but does anyone ever really retire? Come on.
Yeah. Hey, just so you know, if I'm done full-time wrestling the next 4 or 5 years, I'm not going to retire. You'll see me pop up here and there. You know, I might get a bug up my rear and be like, you know what, I want to wrestle a couple more matches, or I want to go overseas. So, yeah, hopefully I have that opportunity where I don't have to really, really retire, where I could just have a match here and there.
Yeah.
So.
It'd be amazing.
Magnificent. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name's Kiefer. Lovely to speak to you. My question is sort of relating to ECW, but kind of the follow-on to that. So WWE obviously tried to do a bit of a reboot. They done some one-night stands, and they obviously brought the brand back. And then when you were in TNA, there was quite a bunch of you came back, and I think it was called EV 2.0 or something like that. And I always remember, because I was a big TNA fan, hearing, I think it was Tommy Dreamer saying, this is what we wanted it to be, but the way we want it. We're bringing ECW back, but this is the way we wanted to do it. And I just wanted to kind of ask, do you think WWE done it right, or what was the purpose of this whole TNA, this is the final run?
I don't think it was ever done right as far as like to recapture that magic. But I'm glad that, you know, because it keeps it alive, and it meant so much to a lot of people, you know, and you know, we'll never see anything like it again. It was good that they had like stuff, you know, with TNA and then in WWE they tried to reboot it, but a lot of people get mad about the WWE product, but you have to understand from a production level and from filming it, and you know, it's just a lot more cost efficient to do it before Raw or SmackDown. And you know, so sometimes fans would get upset, but you have to look at the, you know, the why they did it, how they did it, and without, you know, trying to maximize their profit. And that, unfortunately, that's just business, you know. So, but, you know, it's one of those things, you know. So, but I don't get upset about anything, and it, you know, there's never a right or wrong way when you're trying to do something like that. It's just, what do you like better, you know? So, and at least they tried to keep it alive, you know. So, but I have to kind of agree when everybody says you're the last ever real ECW champion. I like to agree with them on that. So.
Great question. Thank you so much. ECW fans in the house? What's cooler than ECW? Nothing. There we go. Yes. We've got a question here on the left.
Here we go. What's your name, sir?
I'm James. Hi, Rhyno. You've had the benefit of working for a lot of wrestling companies and television wrestling companies. As a wrestler, what's been your favorite ring to wrestle in, like mechanically?
Someone say six-sided ring?
Yeah. That was so weird. Why did we do that?
It was, but
It's weird.
you know, who liked the six-sided ring? Thank you. I didn't.
Strange, right?
It was cool if you just brought it out for a show or two or a pay-per-view or a special event. But I asked why they did it, and they said when people are flipping through the channels, you know, they'll know it's not WWE. Well, just put your damn logo in the corner, you know, like
Simple.
just put TNA Wrestling, you know. And I understood they wanted to do something different, but I just thought it looked awkward on TV because from the hard camera, you got a post right in the middle, you know. And it wasn't difficult for me to wrestle in because if I wanted to shoot a guy off the ropes, I'd just shoot him towards the ropes, you know. Or if I wanted to go into a corner, I'd just go into a corner. But I thought it looked awkward on TV opposed to this is different, you know. Some people, I think, if they really, really like it, then that's cool. But I don't think you have that in between. But as far as the best ring to wrestle in, I'd probably have to say the ECW rings were good. High Spots, they make a really, really good ring. Yeah, I think, but I've wrestled a ton of independents, and I like wrestling independents. Like we were talking about earlier, you know, you see the Stars of Tomorrow today, and it's just, there's some of those rings that are just the shits. Excuse my language, but boards are popping up. There's a hole in there, and they don't clean the canvas. Now, I own a little wrestling promotion in Monroe. It's called IWR, I'll make a plug, Insane Wrestling Revolution. And I'm out there, and remember, this goes out to everybody, whatever you do in life, nobody works harder for you than you. I'm out there cleaning the fucking canvas, excuse my language, in January. So it's one of those things, you have to keep a canvas clean for the guys that are going in there and working for you. And, you know, I'll wrestle in some canvases, it looks like they haven't even been cleaned for 15 years. Yeah, just, it's pretty rough. So if I can go out and power wash the canvas in 20-degree weather, I'm sure other promoters can too. You know, so clean the canvas, spray it, hang it, let it air dry, and then spray Lysol on it. And then when you clean the canvas, which I bought a special vacuum cleaner for, it only goes on the canvas to vacuum it, so it doesn't get dirty. And then I actually yelled at this one guy for helping out. He took the broom that was owned by the building, and I was sweeping up bird crap outside, because that's where the guys would change. And I seen him using that same broom the next night, you know, after the show. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, he had his hood up and I couldn't see. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, just cleaning the canvas. I go, I see that, but we got to, thank you. I didn't yell at him, but I wanted him to stop. So I had to take the canvas out and wash it again, so.
You think about, there's so much stuff on it. There's blood, there's sweat, but the tanner, right? Remember in TNA they would fine
It's
you?
not just for looks, it's just for, you know, staph infection and all that, yeah.
Being healthy,
Yeah, you got a little cut and, you know, it just, you can get something in there and yeah. It's terrible.
And there's ringworm and all, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. We're not going to end on that. Brooker, we need one final
a
question.
hypochondriac now hearing that.
I know, I'm starting to itch now. It's freaking me
Also,
out.
to clarify, when you say 20-degree weather, you mean Fahrenheit, don't you? Wintry.
Yeah.
So we're not talking nice summer day, we're talking sub-zero weather and then some.
I've lived here 8 years. I still don't understand Celsius to save my life. I don't know what they're talking about. Honestly.
Zero is zero. How is that
And I was
complicated?
out there in my shorts and sandals power
Yeah.
because I'm hardcore.
You're hardcore. You're hardcore. We have time for one final question. No pressure. Let's make it a great one. This gentleman here has a question, or over here.
This gentleman here. Okay.
That's my friend
fair play.
Ross.
All
Hello,
right.
Ross.
Coming up. There we go. What's your name, my friend?
My name is Ross, and my question is, if you could make a faction with 3 current WWE superstars, including you, who would it be and why, and what would you call it?
A faction? Well, it would be Kurt Angle, Edge, Christian, and myself. Team Wreck.
Yes.
Actually, we were all together, but thank you. Actually, those guys, they're great guys, and even though Christian is a terrible person right now, isn't he a great heel? Like,
He's so good.
yeah, but I think that's a big part of his personality, and he just lets it shine, and it makes him an asshole.
I was talking to one of the wrestlers from Progress Wrestling yesterday about Christian. He's like, what's he like? And I was like, he's just dry, right? His humor, like he doesn't talk much, but when he does, it's very funny.
Yeah.
But he's very, very dry.
A very intelligent guy,
Yes,
too.
for sure. Well, Rhyno, you have such an amazing career, and we are so thrilled that you can make more memories with us here in Manchester. But after you leave us here, where are your travels taking you? What do you have coming up show-wise, and what's going on for
my travels are taking me back to the gimmick table right
you? Perfect.
No, I'm just gonna, if anybody wants a picture or anything, I'm gonna go over there for a few more minutes.
Awesome.
And then, but my travels, I go home, and then we've got TNA shows on Friday, Saturday in Windsor. And then after that, I have a loop in Michigan, which is nice, my home state. And then after that, I don't know where. Like I know I end up in Indianapolis.
Yep. Will we
So-
see you in Philly for Mania shenanigans?
Yes, Philly. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Who's going to Mania, by the way? If you don't know already, you can come with us for Wrestle Tours. Very excited to see you guys for Mania. And of course, Rhyno will be there for the Philly shenanigans. But before he leaves here, he is going to go to that autograph and photo area. So make sure that you go show your appreciation for Rhyno. Any final words for your adoring fans here?
No, just keep watching wrestling, and you know what? And sometimes you get frustrated with a product, but always know the men and women, whether they're behind the scenes or they're out there wrestling, they try to put the best show possible. They put their best foot forward, and they're not. Sometimes you'll watch a show and you'll go, "What the F was that?" But it's not intentional, you know. And sometimes things take off, and sometimes don't. Things don't. Sometimes stories might end, without no conclusion. You might go scratch your head, but it wasn't on purpose. Everybody goes out there because we all share one thing, a love and passion for wrestling, and we all try to do our best. So don't forget that.
So well said. It's for the love of wrestling. Apropos. Manchester, please show your appreciation. Stand up, make some noise. Let's get rowdy. Show your love for Rhyno.